It's Tony, live from the farm. Actually, I'm right above the farm in our HQ offices. And today we're here with another pop in. And we're doing these pop ins because traditionally we would invite our friends to our facilities to do a pop up wherein they would talk to all of you about the ins and outs of the products that they make. And because of COVID and because of the rules that we're following to make sure that our staff and all of our friends are kept healthy and safe, we wanted to be able to give you that same experience, but in a socially distanced way, and that's exactly what this is. So today, we're going to be talking to my friend Kat from Cheeba Chews about their fantastic product and one of our most requested products by people in Colorado and all of our visitors from outside the state. Kat, thank you so much for coming to see us today, or dialing in to see us, I suppose.
Thank you so much for having me. I really love that I get to be here with you. I appreciate seeing your face, and I miss you all.
And hopefully we'll be able to do this with hugs and high fives and slaps soon. But until then, we're just going to share the love over ones and zeros through the interwebs and the magic of cyberspace. I mentioned, Kat, in your intro that Cheeba Chews is extremely frequently requested by the people that come to see us. And is it because it's just so fun to say? Is it because of your nationwide reach? Is it because they taste? I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I'm not stealing your thunder already. Why is it that your products are so popular in the cannabis space?
You know, Tony, I feel so lucky to be with a group that has such a well-deserved, amazing reputation. I really do. You know, Cheeba Chews, which also actually includes Green Hornet Gummy,
Yeah.
and Daba Premium Chocolates. We have just an incredible, popular, like you said, well-tasting, name brand recognition. One of the reasons why, though, is because you can truly rely on our products to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
We have a full spectrum oil that gets you and keeps you more high from your 100 milligrams on the recreational side.
Sure.
Obviously, you can get more milligrams on medical, with a very well-rounded effect. So, honestly, Tony, most people don't know the specifics and details about why they keep coming back to us, but they do because it's the effects that they're after. So, I mean, pretty much since 2009, we've been using full spectrum extracts. We've been adding CBD to the sativas, and now we actually have CBN in the indicas to help guide those experiences. So, just super consistent, super potent. And, we just have an incredible team who just really enjoys and loves the product. And, there have been many people who've tried to do something similar in the past, or will in the future.
Sure.
And, they just aren't going to be able to hold a flame to, the tight-knit crew that we have. Such a teeny tiny team. I've been with them for 7 years now. We've been, basically most of the same people since the beginning. There's only 20 of us in the company, and there's just a lot of reasons why you can feel the love and heart and soul in every single piece that you eat.
Yeah, it's awesome that you brought up the fact that you've been in the game so long. I mean, I got started in the cannabis space here in Colorado about the same time you got started at Cheeba Chews, and my initial kind of where I got my feet wet was here at the farm, and you mentioned that you guys go back to 2009. That's when we got our start, and it's always so great to talk to people and do business with and create relationships with people that were there when it was only medical and when it was rooted in wellness. And the thing that I like about those kind of OG companies, Cheeba Chews included, is that thread of wellness and kind of patients first is always still there. The therapeutic potential of cannabis as medicine is not lost on me, even though both of our facilities are adult use facilities. We welcome all adults over the age of 21. We still see a very significant amount of people that are using these products for wellness or for therapeutic reasons, and it's awesome that we both kind of come from that. But the farm and Cheeba Chews come from that same space. Now I want to ask you this too. Since we got started way back then, I know what my thoughts are, but I'd like to get your thoughts on what you've seen change over the last, maybe 10 years in the industry, but certainly in the last 7 years as you've been navigating it.
Well, you just touched on so many wonderful things. When I did first start with the company, we were medical only. I personally, I had started on the production side first. There was only 6 people in our company, and we hand wrapped every single piece. We're still the same where it counts, Tony, but we evolved where we needed to and wanted to. So, one of the things that I really love about our company is that our owners are stoners.
Huge.
We really wanted a discreet,
Same.
potent, yummy way to consume and stay high longer.
Yeah, and that's something, as soon as I got here, because I grew up in Iowa, where, I barely understood the difference between sativa and indica, right? That's basically the limit of my cannabis. I knew that people were using it for medicine. I'd followed along with when I was in school with the California in the 90s, and when California legalizes for the first time in this country cannabis for medicinal use, and the changes and staying consistent is so important. I get that, and I love that. And I also love the fact that you mentioned all of those OG products. And when I came to Colorado, long story longer, Cheeba Chews was the first thing you got to try. It's gonna blow you away. It's amazing stuff. I had to wait, of course, until 2014 until it was legally available for me, right? And then when I did, I was blown away by the consistency, the taste of that first Cheeba Chew taffy that I have. And then I've watched you, as you mentioned very early on, introduce new lines. And I very quickly fell in love with Green Hornets. And there was a chunk of time, there still is, a real soft spot in my heart for them, because it quickly turned into my gaming edible of choice. On a Friday night, I was done bud tending. I wanted to go home and kind of unwind. I grabbed those Green Hornets. That was my fun space. That was my kind of unwind space. Let's talk about Green Hornets and the Daba chocolates too, and kind of how those products came to be. And if you were to tell someone, hey, Cheeba Chews is where it's at, and they go to your website and they see all of these huge products, analysis paralysis sets in. Where do I start with Cheeba Chews?
Right.
Where would you recommend someone start?
The cool thing about being with Cheeba Chews for so long is that, recipes keep evolving. Oil obviously has gotten better. If anyone remembers oil from 10 years ago.
Yep.
You talk about that initial response to Cheeba Chews. I'm sure most of you remember the Decadose.
Oh, yeah.
It's still available on the medical side. It's just called extra strength now. However, you used to have to lick the oil off the foil.
Yes.
Because it was just so potent. And it's just this teeny tiny little thing, and you had to sign a waiver for it.
Yeah, I remember that too.
So, some things have stayed the same with us, which is why you can count on Cheeba Chews. There's so many things that have evolved too. So when people ask me, where do I even start? I want an edible, where do I even start? We still recommend the original chocolate taffy, which comes in the sativa or in the indica. Now, these chocolate taffies are what made us a company.
Sure.
The state basically allowed us to become who we are today because we stayed tried and true to this original product. So these are still our top selling products. You can still have that sativa or indica effect. And what's really great about our products is a lot of times people, when they're brand new and they don't know indica sativa, and you teach them in that minute you have before they make the purchase, they think they want sativa. We both know as an edible, it could be kind of extreme.
Right.
So since 2009, since the beginning, we've added a little bit of CBD into our sativas. We don't market it. We don't talk about it. But when you look on the, this is where the test results would be. When you look on the back, you'd be able to see it in there because we want to have that first time experience be what you're going for. So with all of our products just being so small, you would think oh, that's not going to do nothing for me.
Right.
But if you ever had that Decadose, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely something. One of the things I like about that too is, as I mentioned, this is one of our most popular and most requested product. And and a lot of those requests are coming from people who don't have a history with that cannabis edibles, and so a lot of times people will gravitate toward an edible if it's their very first encounter with cannabis, because it's, a taffy is innocuous. It's not very threatening. A piece
Right.
of delicious chocolate taffy is not threatening. It's taffy, right? But as
Right.
we've been talking about, the effects are there, and they're there every time. They're consistent, and that leads me into this too. So before I get into that, I love the fact that you put it. I don't want to skip over the CBD. CBD is super important because of those new people coming in. CBD, for those of you who don't know, CBD can kind of take the edge off of THC just a little bit, so that you don't, it's not quite as, oh my God, what's going on? It kind of calms that effect just enough. It's still super enjoyable. In fact, I'm a big 1-to-1 guy now. I didn't used to be, because I didn't think that 1-to-1 was going to get me where I wanted to go. Here's Tony, the super wook, going to the show. He's just trying to get high. Since I got more mature in my kind of cannabis experience, I'm looking for CBD, because I think it augments THC in a way that is supremely pleasurable. And I think that putting it into your regular sativa product is a fantastic move, and it's great that you brought that up, so that people kind of know about that, and maybe feel a little more comfortable jumping into that
Yes.
that edible space where there's a lot of fear out there. Some of it founded, some of it unfounded, most of it unfounded, I'll say.
Right.
In fact, the lion's share of it is unfounded. But there is a learning curve with edibles, and so for you as a company to respect and appreciate that, it means the world to me as a bud tender, because these are the people that we face every day, and so that's
Right.
that's awesome. The other thing that is important for new people to understand, and when they jump on board the edible train, is consistency. Is
Right.
this going to give me the same effect this time, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time? And Cheeba Chews consistently does that for me, and it consistently does that for the people that I both work with and talk to. So my question to you is, how are you able, in a viscous liquid, almost like a taffy is, how are you able to consistently put that same effect in chew after chew after chew, and gummy after gummy after gummy, and chocolate after chocolate after chocolate?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite questions to answer, because there's so many pieces to it that people just don't even recognize. When dispensaries first started,
Oh yeah.
there were companies that didn't even know to activate their oil, and they were just kind of putting bud in or flour or things like that, and it was just so much like, everyone was new to the game. So from the get-go, Cheeba Chews has done a really good job at actually even educating some other companies about how to do that, when everyone first came out of the gate. But also, there's a lot that goes into it. The first thing I like to talk about that most people don't know, your average consumer, brand new bud tender, those kinds of things, is that there are a lot of things that we do as a company even before they became laws.
Mm-hmm.
So every product is going to have something on the marketing layer that says like how many milligrams it is.
Mm-hmm. And just for everybody else that knows, marketing layer is kind of that outside layer that, where the logos are, it looks real pretty, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
But what most people don't think about is that, on where the test results all live, is where, the real information is. Just like how in your foods, the nutritional label is where your real information is, not what the marketing layer is. And so even before there was a rule, and Tony, what is the variance rule for edibles now?
Right, great question. It's 15% plus or minus, so you could have 15% plus or minus from whatever is listed in that nutritional info, or that cannabinoid info, the test results that you mentioned earlier on that label.
So when you're talking about 10 milligram pieces in such a small piece, and I'm actually going to open this up to kind of show you. So for Cheeba Chews, the outside packaging is not what is child resistant. It's going to be what's on the inside.
Yes, and I love that you said child resistant, not child proof. It's child resistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is just a dummy, obviously empty packaging. It's clear. The child resistant is going to be opaque and everything, but just to kind of show you, in a piece this small, you're going to have the necessity to want to be exactly what you are saying you are. So this is the size of your product, right?
Sure.
So if anyone has made like an edible at home, sometimes the batch has all of the high in one spot and none in the other.
Oh, right.
And when you're talking about something this small, you can't do that.
No.
So consistency has a lot to do with our product. So one of the things we did first is we are still mixing by hand in a shallow cake pan, each and every single batch, one batch at a time.
Wow.
So your average cake pan is what we are doing. It's still basically the same people since the beginning.
That's
doing
so cool.
this by hand. There are certain spatulas that we buy out anytime they become available because it's just such a specific motion and movement. And with any recipe in the world, if you've ever made, like, for your friends, like, doubled your favorite cookie recipe or try to quadruple it,
right,
it doesn't come out the same.
No.
You have to, like, add more water or more flour or more sugar. And so for us, it's really important to make sure that each batch, we are starting it the same way we've done for over a decade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we're making that consistent part there, and once we start there and we have the homogeneity down, which means that each and every piece is going to be exactly what it says on the marketing layer,
mm-hmm.
That's where we really have our name. So with that plus or minus 15% variance, that means that a 100 milligram product can have a total of 85 milligrams.
Right, or 115.
Total of 115.
Right.
And that's a huge swing when you're talking about an edible. If anyone's ever eaten too many edibles, they understand that might not have been what they were going for.
My level of the difference between a little discomfort and total fear is for me is razor thin. That 1.5 milligrams or 2, it could teeter me over the edge in the wrong scenario.
Exactly. And so, we've been really good about that. So there were no laws about variance when the industry started.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, we tried to stick to about a 5% variance.
Huge.
Yep. So now that there's a law in place where you can be 15% variance, we're sticking to 5. And one of the things I like to remind people of is name brand versus everything else.
Yes.
We are a household name brand the same way that some of your pharmaceuticals would be.
Right.
So pharmaceuticals is where we got the variance laws from, and they don't have to be transparent. They don't put on a bottle of Tylenol,
right.
or I probably shouldn't say name brands, acetaminophen. Like, they probably shouldn't, they wouldn't put the actual transparent numbers on there. But a name brand is going to stick as close to that, what they're advertising, or higher.
Right.
Whereas a store brand might be like, hey, we're allowed to swing. It tests within those limits.
We're good. Yeah.
Or some companies might do it on purpose and go lower because
they
allowed.
can. Yeah, and they cut corners that way.
So we've always had just a really tight to what we say or higher. Because let's face it, we are known for being potent.
Sure.
And we want to give you the most value that we absolutely can. So, sticking to such a small variance on the lower end, you'll never see any of our products, testing, lower than that kind of 5% range.
Awesome.
We have to give ourselves a little bit of a buffer.
Sure. Because it's hard, 15%,
right?
Yeah. 15% is a lot. And I understand where it came from, but I really appreciate the fact that you are being as true to the expectation as possible, because that means a lot for me as a liaison to the public. And when I champion products like yours, it means a lot for me to know that my word is carried through in the consistency of your product. I absolutely love that. And one of the other things, people look for effect, they also look for flavor. And the reason I grabbed those Hornets on the front end, the reason I grabbed those was because they taste so good. They are incredible.
I agree.
How are you able to pack such a punch in your products and make them taste good? Because that's not something that everybody can do.
Okay, so the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the first thing is, we have to make sure that the ingredients are 100% organic. So, the Okay, so there's these mini flavor fighter jets. No.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So what a lot of people don't realize about Cheeba Chews Green Hornet Gummy Daba chocolates is that all of our recipes are Colorado proud recipes.
Awesome.
And so anywhere in the country you buy a Cheeba Chew, the base product was made here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's really cool to know because you need to be not only delicious, but consistent.
Yep.
So if any of you are from a different altitude, and it's not going to work the same.
Yeah.
So, we really want to make sure that the recipes are on point regardless of where you are in the country. It's not a different chef in each state. It's not a different altitude. It's not a different variation to the recipe to make it work for that. So that's one of the things I really think is cool about being so Colorado proud. The other thing is the R&D stage, research and development.
That's the fun.
So this is my favorite part, of course.
Right.
We're always able to evolve the tastes. Back in the day in 2009, Cheeba Chews had to be a lot tougher.
Sure.
Because they're teeny tiny, about the size of your thumb, and you're packing in tons of milligrams of oil.
Sure.
So now that oil has gotten better, we were able to evolve our recipes. And so now the Cheeba Chews are actually kind of more of like a consistency of a fudge.
Sure.
And the caramels are kind of more of the consistency of that as well. So the word taffy is kind of a misnomer.
Sure.
Because people think one thing, but it's actually anywhere from a fudge to like a Laffy Taffy kind of consistency, or a Starburst kind of consistency, or a Now and Later.
Sure.
And our products actually range all of that. So, we have the chocolate taffies, and then the caramels, and the strawberries, and the sour apples. So you get anywhere from that fudgy to like that, more like a Now and Later. So research, development, the owners, they do get to be the ones, to basically say like, yes, this is what we're working with, but it's a lot of sourcing with our own team. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of making sure that we're getting that consistency right, knowing that most of us have been in the game for over 5 years with the same company. So we get to be able to know in the back of our heads, okay, without oil, the research and development part, it needs to be 10-year or sweeter because we know we're going to be adding
those flavors in. Got it. Yeah.
So we have many flavors on the back burner. We'd love to hear from you guys what you would like to see next as well. But, it's seriously my favorite part of, getting to be in such a small, tiny company is that your voices really do matter. What you guys say to us really does matter. And that's why you do see things that continually evolve. The next time you try a thing, you might be like, ooh, I taste a little bit, more of that strawberry.
Right.
Or, whatever it is.
I'm going to take this opportunity then to say for my wife too, cinnamon. I think like a really nice cinnamon flavored taffy would be awesome. And then espresso. Like I feel like espresso would like I'm thinking of like a caramel latte off the top of my head with your caramels and some espresso powder. Take that back to the Cheeba Chew R&D department, and then hopefully this time next year I'll be gobbling some of those down.
We absolutely will. We love hearing from everyone what they want to see, and so that is how our Green Hornet Gummy Blue Raspberry came into play. Us at Cheeba Chews were really pushing for the flavor. It's so nostalgic. It just takes you back to childhood because it's literally only in things that you ate as a kid.
Right.
It's not something you picked off a plant.
Right.
So after a lot of begging and pleading and all of that, it came to be, and it's one of our most popular
super popular with this guy. We talking about all these great flavors, and we have a lot of friends of the farm that are not in Colorado. They pay attention to what we do because they, this is the first or second stop that they make when they come into the Centennial State. They come and see us. Hey, it's been a year and we're back, and it's been 2 years and we're back. And we always get that question. this, and for those of you who are coming in, you can save it, the question, because the answer is going to be no. But it's like, how do I get these Cheeba Chews how do I get them home? It is illegal to take products outside, cannabis infused products outside the state of Colorado. But now our friends outside the state of Colorado have a Cheeba Chew alternative, or a Cheeba Chew product that they can enjoy. And this was a big eye opener for me, because this gives me, as a again, liaison to the public, this gives me some information to give to my friends who really, really love your product. And especially those, because there are a lot of people who look to Cheeba Chews for its consistency and flavor, and are looking to eliminate the buzz. They're looking for a wellness product. They're not looking for any effects that THC might offer. So you've got a line of CBD only products that tickles me. I love it. Tell me about those.
I'm so excited that you love it, Tony. We do too. It just makes it so much easier when you have an answer for the public. When they say, how can I have this, or get this to my family member or coworker or person who I think needs this. So we have a hemp product called Hemp Cheeba Chews.
Yes.
It's going to be all of the flavors that we have on our Cheeba Chews line. And you can get them direct to consumer. So you just go to hempcheebachews.com, and that's Cheeba Chews with an S.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
And, what's cool about this is with some of the new regulations and things, that these will be showing up in dispensaries soon as well. So you'll be able to say, okay, eat this here while you're in state, take this one, back with you. The cool thing about that too is that we just launched a new product on the Cheeba Chews line that, Tony, you guys carry. And that is our Sleepy Time.
Yeah!
This has CBN.
Love it.
And melatonin, just a touch of melatonin, not a lot.
Sure.
And what's cool about this is that you don't have to know what CBN does to know this is going to put you to sleep. It's called Sleepy Time. And there's 20 pieces in here, so it's almost your full month of sleep aid. And this has been a literal lifesaver for a lot of folks here. They have literally been able to have some of the best night's sleep. A lot of us have a lot of things going on, personal, professional. It's just a lot of weariness. We're all just tired from all these extra steps that we didn't used to have to do, 6 months ago. So what's cool about this is that it is launched on our hemp side too, without the THC.
Oh,
so
nice.
And CBD and a touch of melatonin. So, we're really excited to have that available nationwide. You're able to get that with everybody. And this does come in our original chocolate taffy, because, as much as people say, like, oh, I want something new, they come back to
right.
tried and true.
Yeah. Well, listen, chocolate is chocolate, right? Like, no substitute for chocolate at all.
Exactly.
Well, I'm super stoked to give those a try. I've got a lot on. I mean, everyone has a lot on their mind right now: political and civil unrest, and a global viral pandemic. And I just bought a house, and so there's a lot going on in my mind. So thank you. And so to be able to know that Cheeba Chews is there for me to kind of help me unwind and make sure that I'm getting my restful 8 at night is so awesome. And we've talked about so many new products, and I know that there's more coming out of your R&D department that you can't talk about yet. But I want to give people an outlet as to where they might find out about these. So how can people at home right now watching this follow along with the Cheeba Chews story?
That's a fantastic question. You're right. There are some things that are happening soon. There are a lot of things brewing in our kitchen in the future for sure. Some I can kind of talk about now. Because we will be continuing our seasonals for the Cheeba Chews line. Do you want to guess what seasonal we're having for the fall?
Pumpkin spice? Yeah! Listen, I'm a basic boy. I am not ashamed to say it. I will gobble down pumpkin spice Cheeba Chews. It'll be you made my fall, Kat. You made my fall.
And just so that everyone listening knows, the pumpkin spice is in our caramel base. So the caramel hybrid taffy, if that's something that you enjoy, it tastes like fall in your mouth. It is the most just delicious flavor. You're going to want to get it before it's all gone. We do limited editions of those. So That will be coming in the fall. You didn't hear from us though. And you know, Green Hornet Gummy lineup has some exciting things happening, so stay tuned. And Daba Premium Chocolates, we actually just came out with some new things. So the Dabas, we originally had the mint, which is an award-winning flavor, in the milk chocolate.
Yep.
We came out with a dark chocolate raspberry.
Yum.
And we have a white chocolate peanut butter banana, which
oh my God.
Is going to be the next award-winning.
You're speaking my language, Kat. I skip lunch today. You're making me hungry.
To just evolve these. You know, we are doing premium products. We are using full spectrum oils. We are using higher end oils and products and things like that. The other thing I might not have mentioned is that all of our traditional indica products, our entire catalog, also will have touches of CBN to help guide that experience.
The CBN can absolutely help dial you back a little bit, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. You'll see that on the test results on the back. You know, this does not have that because there's no food in it. But so, friends, you guys can follow along with us. The best and easiest way to get all the sneak peeks is the Instagram stories.
Oh, yeah.
We know those are going to disappear soon. So if you follow Cheeba _ in between the two, Chews.
Got it.
That's going to be on Instagram. On Facebook, we're just Cheeba Chews. And on Twitter, we are at Cheeba Chew. Know us.
Got it.
So, and that's how you can find us, you know, on all of those places. We really do love to have a lot of engagement there. And we have a local Cheeba Chews page. That's co.cheebachews, co for Colorado. And that's how you'll kind of know more what's happening locally. But for the real juicy gossip, go to Cheeba _ Chews on Instagram.
Love it. Thank you, Kat, so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to run actually downstairs and grab some of those sleeps. I'm excited to catch.
I'm so glad.
Z's. Just imagine the Z's kind of coming from a Z, 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 Z. Kat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Remember to follow them on Instagram. Follow us on all our socials. And we'll see you next time on our farm poppin'. Mwah.